Hello everyone, so welcome to this course of animation. So as you can see, we have done the blocking process, and now in this session we will do some amount of tweaking inside the Maya software. So as you can see, we have the timeline and also we have the uh, panels which is situated at the channel box. So we just select any of the file and just put it the value which is the right side corner of your screen. So as you can see, if you play frame by frame, that would be much more better, so that you may have the idea about how your animation is flowing at your timeline. That would be much more fine. And as you can see, we have just select this part and we'll just go to the graph editor, because whatever we will do, we will just have to manipulate inside the graph editor. So we'll just put this point so much of little bit of lower, as we need some amount of curviness into the animation, as whenever you are working into the walk cycle or any of the character animation, you need the curviness. That means if you add the curviness, it will just produce some amount of more realistic. So better you should have a reference, and after that, if you watch to the reference and just copy that same animation, you will just get a little bit of more realistic. So there should be a weight on the feet, so that when character is moving forward and it's just tapping to the ground, some amount of weight can be seen. Okay, so that means we have to just manipulate the points through the tangent, or we have to add, or maybe we have to delete the point. If you just add extra points, definitely some amount of jerk will come. So whenever you are adding onto your model the points into the timeline or the key, you have to just think about that. If you need maximum point, you have to just undergo through very amount of corrections also, because if you need maximum points, definitely jerk will come. So minimum points you can adjust through tangents, because all the tangents has been given. So as you can see, we are in channel box and just delete it, and the manipulated the translate z value, which is -90, and we just moving frame by frame, so that you may have the idea about how you can just put it in each every frame. So in character or in any organic especially, we don't require the scale in maximum cases. Yeah, you can use the scale value, but translate and rotation is quite fine for me, and now I'm using the translate and rotation because we don't require the scale here. And again you have to switch it to the graph editor, so that you may have a proper look of the point flowing into your graph editor. Okay, so as you can see, we have all the values which is just situated here, and also we have the translate y value, which is now I'm manipulating into the graph editor. So moving forward and just selecting this one, moving upward, just select the tangent and just take the curve, and after that translate z will be happen. And as you can see, the graph is going from downward to upward region. Is that when you're just working in the tangent x, translate x, the curve value will form. Okay, so like this way you can work quite well. And also you have the yeah, this region which is here, and also just move forward and just go to in between the keyframes, and just select this part and just go to rotate z, and just have the manipulation, select this one and just move it upward a little bit, like this way. Okay, so moving here, and okay, now just select this and just make a curve which is the slant curve, and also this part need to be little bit of like this way, like ease out. So here we have extra points which we have just put at the keyframe. So right now I will just leave this and we'll just go to translate x only, because if you just open all the values which is xyz, rotation xyz, you will get the confused. So you will open one at a time. That would be much more you can say beneficial for you. If you open all the things, you will get confused. So rather than having all the things to be open, should go for having only one at a time. Okay, so as you can see, we are forming the curve which is generated inside the graph editor, and also we will play around the timeline, because whenever you are working in animation, you have to keep on playing your timeline, so that you may have the proper idea how your character animation is flowing. Okay, so as you can see, we just put at the 2 point which is at the top, and just moving little bit of higher value. And I think we should move this part at first, then I will just go to the zero part, which is the first frame, and just move it up. Okay, so I just put it one value, move upward, so that we have the proper flow of the particular curvature. And also we'll just move now here. So reason behind moving two different, because at first we have to focus at the mid frame, then after that we have to focus on the first one. So like this way you can just move point one by one, or you can easily move points. You can say you can have the group of points, select all the points in a single way and just move it up. Okay, because you have to just make sure that you have to just do the animation proper in the few frames. After that you will do the cycling, which is the looping inside Maya, and after that each and every step the animation will be duplicated, and again the character will move or walk in the same way. Okay, so like this way you can work, moving to the zero, and after that just you can say we'll just select this part, which is the shoulder region, and rotate Y, and here we have the curvature. Just select this curvature, delete the points which we don't require, and also we just move it here, and also just select this and just move it down little bit. Okay, and just move it here, just select this and just move it down a little bit. Here would be fine. Select this one and just move it somehow here. Select all the points, and now we have a slate tangent which is just flowing in a loop way. Okay, select this one and just go to this point, and this two part, move it here, and also just select any of the translate value, which is this one, this two, and this part, especially this one, which is the 12th frame, as you can see on the graph editor timeline. And here we are in 15th frame, so we have to just switch to the frame by frame. That means in 12th frame we have this point, and in 15th frame we have the another one. So I will just put the curvature which is following the 12th frame and just easing out into the 15th frame. So that's matter, easing in and easing out. If you know the process of ease in and ease out, you will have a good animation. As you can see here, we have the same process. From 0 frame the animation is going upward, and from 15 it's going the downward. So like this way you can have a proper loop of your animation. So now I'm focusing on the feet region. So as you can see, we have this frame, which is the 6th one, translate C at the value. We'll just move it little bit of forward, and also we just move it little bit like this, and also just select the tangent and just move it like a simple manner of curvature, and just select and just move it like here. And after that what happens next, we'll just have the loop which is just following the character in a straight way, and after that we'll just select the hand region and we'll just move it. So as you can have the idea that each and every controller has its own key feature which we have added in the previous session. So if you need any correction, you just select that controller and just put it into the timeline and just work for the same. Okay, so the animation which you are doing into the character, you need to work on the controller well. So like this, so you can have the X, Y and Z axis, and just putting the slant curvature into your graph editor, and also this one, the shoulder part. So as we have just used the shoulder part, and also we have just animated the full character, so one by one you have to just select the particular curve and just do the animation, or you can refine the same. So whenever you're working in any inorganic or organic, especially in organic, you can say living thing, so you have to just move each and every part from its main position. Okay, that means if you don't move, then it will just form so much amount of robotic animation. So if you need natural animation, you have to just select any of the curve and move accordingly. Okay, so each and every part have to be moved. Okay, if you go forward, then each and every part have its own slant curvature. As you can see, this shoulder need to be worked quite well. And also just select this and manually just change the uh, you can say the position. And as you can see, the graph editor, that point has gone upward. Select this part, and also we have to do the little bit of slant, so it will just easily follow the same. Okay, we'll just select and just move it upward. Select this hand region, and after that what happens next, we'll go to rotate Z, move it like this way. And also what else we have to do, just select this region, we'll just off for a while, and also this one. So as you can see, now we can change the part of this hand uh, into the rotate Y. So at first we'll just off the translate values into slant, so we don't require curvature into the translate value, but in rotate Y can have the manipulation of points. Okay, so select and just, okay, rotate Y and just select and just move it like this, so that it will form a particular curve loop. Select this and move it somehow here, and also select this and move it somehow here. So as you can see, it is just forming a particular loop into your graph editor, and also just move it somehow here. Okay, so little bit of shiftment is very important. That means you don't have to shift like this. Just look at your animation into the timeline, just proper flow the timeline, and also just check out each and every part is moving quite well or not. Then after, if you need something to do into the graph editor, you can shift the points accordingly. Okay, so with the help of this, you may have the idea how you can just change into the graph editor, and how you can just manipulate it each and every process into the graph editor. Put it like here, and also we'll just select this hand, select this part and move it here. Select this one, move it at the downward region, and also this part need to be corrected quite well. Okay, so moving along the timeline, the shoulder part, and also the rotate Y, I think rotate C would be fine, and this part which is the rotate X, and the head region of the character, the neck region, select all the curvature, and minus 15, so it's just gone down. As you can see, a slant movement of the character happened into the neck region. Okay, so the movement of the point like this way is important. And also we just working in the rotate value as compared to the translate one, so we are working more into the rotate values, because whenever any character is moving, the rotation value will be have to be changed well. Okay, so this way you can have the proper idea that how your character is moving well, and also how you can change the rotate value inside the character. So the shipment of the graph editor, and followed by the timeline. Whatever you does into the timeline, it will all show into the graph editor. That means in graph editor you will have the detailed view of your timeline. So I am in play blast option. You can just have the custom display, and the size, I think size would be reduced, because play blast is only for having your rough view amount. So 640 320 is fine, scale is 1, and frame padding would be 4. Okay, so where you want to save your play blast file, you have to just define your correct directory. So I'll just select any of them, and make sure that whenever you're working in any of the file, you should always have to rename accordingly, so that if you have the proper rename, you can go to your file easily. Okay, so rename is very important. And also whenever you want to save your file, please make sure that your all file will save in a particular folder of that particular scene which you are creating into the Maya. So you don't have to put in each and every drive, you have to save in only one folder, so that whenever you are working, you just call that particular drive. So as you can see, we have yeah, we have just opened the playblast window, which is floating window. And also when your buffer will be completed, your playblast window will be appear on your screen. Okay, so we'll minimize the same, and we'll go to the perspective. Each and every time I'm working more in perspective, because in perspective you can easily change your screen, or you can rotate, and you can watch in every you can say every angles. So instead of having in all the view, you can also work in the perspective if you need, but you have to check in every view. Okay, so checking in every view, especially in front and the left view, is very important. After that you can work manipulate your animation into the perspective, and again you have to look at your perspective, sorry, you have to look at your left and front view. Okay, so changing of your view is very important. You don't have to fix in only one view. If you want to work in left view, if you have worked in left view, definitely in front view or perspective view things will not be matched. So each and every time you have to just switch on your view. Okay, so whatever you have done in front view, you have to look at in the left view, and after that you have to manipulate all the things into the perspective, because in perspective you may have the camera, you can easily rotate the camera around the model. So as you can see, graph editor, we have opened the graph editor and just selected all the panels of this particular character. You can see it gets messed. So like this way artist gets confused, because if you open all the things you can't work. So instead of having opening all those, you can have only one thing at a time. So as you can see, I am just does the post infinity, so that the cycle will happen each and every time your thing will be into animation. So post infinity, linear, or you can use the cycle. So like this way you can work, so that your animation will follow one by one in each and every frame by itself. You have to just make sure that you just put it the frames into the first few numbers of the timeline. So just put the keys into the first few frames, and after that it will just have a cycle loop. Okay, so as you can see, the red line inside the graph editor is showing that we are currently in that particular frame. So you can just move it here and just change the particular point. Like this way you can have a proper flow of your animation. And also by simple tweaking of something, you can have to achieve a good result inside Maya software. So make sure that whenever you're working, don't have to focus in one part, you just have to focus on each and every part, from head to toe to legs to feet, and each and every part you have to just manipulate it. Okay, so that would be much more better, and it will also form some amount of realistic animation as compared to the normal animation. So having reference is also very important. You can shoot yourself inside a room or in a garden with a camera or with phone. After that you can just import that video into your computer and just look at each and every frame, and you can just work in Maya to copy your animation. That would be much more realistic. Okay, so having reference is very important. especially in animation. You can also have reference in modeling. If you don't have, you how can you make? But you can also sketch things in modeling, and after that you can use in Maya and just model the same thing what you have sketched. But in animation you can't use your imagination, because if you use your imagination, definitely the animation will not be superb as compared to the realistic one. So if you are experienced, then it would be okay, but if you are a fresher or newcomer, definitely you need some reference. Okay, so having reference, you can easily manipulate your character or change your character. Okay, so that is very important. Like this way you can just work on the timeline, move to the perspective to just have a particular look of your character, that it is working quite well or not. Okay, I think rest is fine. So just put it some value into the channel box so that you may have the idea how you can just manipulate the things, like here, and toe lift, little bit of liftment into the toe. So we have just put it few numbers. Going to translate Z, and just move it like here. Okay, and between these 2 points here also, we just need to just lift the toe and also the heel region of the character. So we'll just move it somewhere here, and as you can see, the Z value which we have just moved it and having the particular weight into the character. Okay, so like this way you can have weight with the help of graph editor, and weight into the character is very important. If you put weight, definitely your animation will look so much of more realistic. So in next session we will have a detailed view of our animation. Okay.